Okay, you're welcome, guys. This is a basic class. If you can't hear me at any time, please indicate. I will see it. Right? Okay, so this is a basic class, and then basic means that we're starting from scratch, total scratch, and then we want you to show you exactly what it means to trade in the forex market, understanding the forex market from the lowest levels, right? And being able to take you from there to the more advanced levels. The reason this is important is that many people who started trading, they just jumped into several things without actually going through the basics. And then what that now does is that at a point they miss some things. It's more like the foundation is not laid, but then they jumped into certain things because they thought, okay, I just need to get to the money. Yes, you can get to the money. Yes, you can get to the money. Yes, please. Okay. Yes, you can get to the money, but you need to build the basics so that you'll be able to do things the right way, right? When we went to school, or for those who are still in school, you know that there's a sequence for learning. Anything you're learning, any course you're taking, there's a sequence for learning it. And you can't just jump to a second class, third class, and without going to the first one, right? And going through the basics, right? So that's why this is important. For those who think, oh, basics is not for me, well, as you go through the basics, if you decide to take the basic class, as you go through the basic, you realize that there are actually several things there that you ought to probably know that you did not know. Okay, so that's why it's very important. Okay, it's really very important to take this class. Okay, so let's get started. So overview, what's the forex market? Like I said, we're starting from the scratch, from basic, right? From the basics. So what's the forex market? So when you hear about the forex market, what comes to mind is basically the bureau de change. So what happens with the bureau de change? You take your dollars and then you can change to naira. You have a certain amount in naira, or you want to travel abroad, or you want to do a certain transaction, and then you go to the bureau de change. You want to get $1,000 for your transaction. So when you get there, and you are meant to change your local currency, which could be naira, it could be rand, it could be naira or rand or Ghana cedis. You want to change that into dollars. So what you do is that you have to take the equivalent in naira, dollars, rand, or whatever. You need to take the equivalent of that to the bureau de change. Okay, the money changers. You have to take the equivalent to that to the money changers, and then what they do is give them your naira, dollar, rand, whatever, sorry, naira, Ghana cedi, rand, whatever. You give that to them, then they give you $1,000, which means that you exchanged your local currency for the dollar. In this case, $1,000. That's what you've done. So that is the basic concept of forex trading. Now, the thing is this, when that happens, you are basically doing a transaction. At that time, you personally are doing a transaction. Okay, but for the guy who is the money changer, the bureau de change, the guy is not just doing a transaction, he's actually engaging in commercial activity, which means that he's actually making money from that transaction that just happened. For you, you may not be making money. You need the money for something else. You didn't make money from it. You just changed your whatever amount in naira to $1,000. Or whatever amount in rand, you change it to $1,000. That's all you did as a customer. But for the guy who you went to meet, that's not just what happened. For him, it was a commercial transaction that is profitable. Because if it's not profitable, there's no way he would be involved in that kind of business, because he's in business. He's doing that every day. Every day he's doing that. So that's basically the idea. He makes money from that transaction, even though you don't, for that particular transaction. But basically, that is the idea around forex trading. So when it comes to online forex trading, that's offline, that's traditional, orthodox money exchanging and all that. But now you come to the forex market and you're talking about trading online, doing online trading. So that's what we do. Advantage, for example. Advantage is a broker. And then what we do Advantage is that we help people trade the financial market. We give you the platform, the tools, the MT4, the software for you to come into the forex market and to trade and to make profits. Now, this is a bit different from the one I described earlier, which is the traditional one where you just change your physical naira to dollar or physical rand to dollar and all that. That's different from this one. This is online. And this one is basically for profit. When you trade this particular forex market, it is for profit. Okay, so if you have $1,000 and you made a trade for today, you could make 5% of your money today. You traded with $1,000. At the end of the day, you have $1,050, which is 5% on your dollars, right? So that is the purpose of this one. The purpose of coming online, joining Vantage, creating an account to trade the forex market is to make profit, right? So this is what it is, and I'm sure we already know. That's even the reason why we're taking the class in the first place, because we want to make profit. We know that forex market is to make profit, right? So basically, you are very correct. That is what it is. But there are some misconceptions people have about forex because of certain experiences that they've had, because of certain experiences that they have, or certain perceptions that they have from people who have had experiences in forex market, all of those things. There are certain misconceptions people have and say, okay, when you come into the forex market, many times what perceptions do you have? People have perceptions that, oh, the forex market is a place where you lose money, or it's easier to invest in property, buy land, or buy a house or something. Yes, all that is very valid. But then the forex market has its advantages that you cannot find elsewhere. So during the course of this training, you're going to be understanding several of that, and then we're going to be delving further. So first and foremost, we talked about an overview of the forex market, how that the forex market is a place where you come in and trade and make money, okay? And the simplest part of it is the traditional one where you just change your physical currency, the physical local currency to dollars, okay? So the forex market is a very big market. The forex market is actually the largest financial market in the world, okay? Now, as of today, the forex market has $5.3 trillion transacted on a 24-hour basis. So there's an analogy I usually give when I do trainings. I usually ask people this question. I'm like, if you have a business, there's a potential business, there's a business you want to start, and that business, in order for you to start it, right? In order for you to start that business, you need to do some kind of research, some kind of market research. Now, when you did that market research, you realize that that market is so small. Let's use an example. You want to start a particular business and you realize that in a city where you live, let's say the city where you live have about, the city has about 1 million people, right? The city has about 1 million people. And then you realize that that particular product you want to sell or a particular business you want to do actually has potential for just 500 customers. Now the product you're selling is not $1 million, it's not $100,000 and all that. Of course, I understand there are some kinds of businesses that are very high ticket businesses, right? So even if you have 500 customers, it could still be very big. But this is not that kind of a cost for business. Your business is you're selling products that are maybe $100. $100 a piece. And then you have realized that there are only 500 potential customers today, tomorrow, and the future for this business that you are doing, which means that the business is the market value of that business, of that industry is very small. Would you consider that a good business to get into with your energy, with your time, and all that? I'm sure the answer is no, because You can't be getting into a business that is so small. The potential for growth is actually small. 500 customers. When you can max that out in your first year or in a few months. Now, if you max that out in your first month or in a few months or in your first year, what do? How do you grow? Okay, how do you grow? But I made the analogy to compare it to the forex market. Now, you have a market that has a $5.3 trillion volume in a day. Volume is transaction, which means buying, selling. Money is changing hands within the market every day is 5.3 trillion. What that means is that you can make $1 million and pull it out of this market. The market will not even know. Even $1 billion. I've encountered traders that make $500,000 in a day, $1 million in a week. Yes, but the market does not even know that they are there because of the size, 5.3 trillion. How much can you take from an ocean? That's the potential of the forex market. So whether you are part of the forex market today or you are not, okay, in my time right now, this is 11:17. So which means that we've had about 11 hours of today so far. Now, today is going to end in 24 hours. Today is a 24-hour day. In this 24-hour period of time, $5.3 trillion would have changed hands. So the question is whether you are part of it, of this market, or else you are not. 5.3 trillion will still change hands today. So what does it? In what way is it detrimental for you to be part of this? So if there's so much money flowing around, and you are, even though you are not part of it right now, the money is still flowing. And look, this number you're seeing is actually more than that currently. This is actually a number that's from several years ago. This number is actually more like $6.6 trillion right now. So many, as the time goes by, as the years go by, the number of this, the volume, the amount of money that's been transacted on a daily basis in forex market actually increases. Even though you are probably not part of the market right now, the amount still increases. So what do you want to do? You want to be part of this market. You don't want to let this market just go by. You want to be part of it, whether you're part of it part-time or part of it full-time, whatever, in whatever way. You want to be part. You want to come in and take what is yours from this market, right? So that's what it is. That's how this market is. This market is so big. And then for retail traders, there are institutional traders. There are those that have the big money. There are those that have the small money. The big money guys are the institutional traders. You that I'm talking to right now is you are the retail traders. I'm also a retail trader. Okay, so what we do is we come into the market with $10,000, with our $5,000, with our $1,000, you know, and then what we want to do, we want to make profits on that our money. Okay, that's what we are. We are retail traders. As retail traders, you are like you are very small. You are the small fish in the pond, very small. But then you are able to still take profits from the market through from anywhere in the world. You can sit down with your laptop, with your phone. Now we have softwares all over that you can use from your laptop, from your phone, and then you can connect to the market at any time and you can make profits from the market, right? So that's it. Now, why do you trade forex? So, like I was saying earlier, there are people right now that when you ask them, what do you think about forex? They say, oh, it's a place where you lose money. But it's a place where you throw away your money. I'm sure you've encountered, if you're on this call, I'm sure you must have encountered somebody who lost money, or you heard somebody who lost money in the forex market. That's the way it is. Many people have lost money in the market, but why did they lose money actually? Why? That's the question. Now, there are people who have lost money in all kinds of businesses. There are people who have lost money in real estate, doing real estate. There are people who have lost money in all kinds of businesses. Any business that requires you to put money into it, people have lost money in it. But they don't necessarily bounce that business because they know it was a learning process. But the reason why you hear the kind of things you hear in the forex market is because or the mentality with which people come into the market at first. The mentality. So they see Forex as a get-rich-quick scheme. They come into the market right now, put some money, in 1 month you made $1 million. In 1 month you've done this, you've taken $100 and you made it 1,000, or you made it $10,000 within a month. You know, so the truth is that it is not the Forex market as a scam. It is the people that you've listened to that are the scam. Because they wanted to make you understand or make you believe that Forex is a get-rich-quick scheme. Okay, and the reason why you get to lose like that, or those who lost like that, is because they believed the scammers. They believe scammers. So Forex is just like any other business that requires knowledge. If you want to be a cook, as I'm here right now, I'm seeing a restaurant not far from me, and I'm seeing them display all kinds of things. Okay, so now, but how do you make those kind of things that I'm seeing? If you're a cook, you know that it will take you years to sit down and learn the art of being a good chef. And then by the time you are so good, and then you go set up a shop and all that, and your business blows up, it becomes like there's something special, that you've done. But there is nothing special that you've done. What you've just done is you took a skill, you learned the skill, and then you use that skill to develop yourself, to build the business. That is exactly how the Forex market is. The Forex market is also learning a skill and using that skill to build a business. That's what it is. So whatever monies you're going to deposit, when you open a Vantage Market account, the monies that you are going to deposit is basically your investments. Okay. So, like I said, if you have any issues hearing me, please put your comments in the chat box. So that's the money. When you come into Vantage Markets right now and you open an account and you deposit $500 or you deposit $1,000, so what you're actually doing, that money is the money that you are investing into the market. But hey, that's why we are here right now, training you. In the next couple of weeks, we are going to, from now on, we're going to be doing certain trainings. You're going to see the schedule. Some of you have already seen the schedule of our trainings and all that. Why are we doing the training? Why are we going to continue to do the trainings? The reason is that it takes knowledge to make money. Just the way you need to learn the skill of a chef, you need to learn the skill of a trader. So you need to learn through knowledge to trade properly. That's the reason why some people have said, oh, they lost money. When someone tells me they lost money, I know specific questions to ask them. And I know exactly where to place them. And then when I'm done with them, they realize that everything, it wasn't just about the market. It wasn't about the broker. It wasn't about any of those things. It was mostly about them. It was probably 80% their own issues. Okay? So to educate yourself, you're going to have to educate yourself. Then you're going to have to look for a broker that is, these are some of the things that make people win in the market. Okay? So you are going to educate yourself. The education is what we are doing. So we have started doing and we're going to be doing it. Then you're going to have to get a regulated broker. There are some brokers that people have put money into and the money disappeared. Okay? You get a regulated broker that can give you what you're looking for. And that's where Vantage comes in. Okay? Vantage is one of the best brokers out there right now with the best spreads and all of those things. Okay? So that's where Vantage comes in. So if you are already on the Vantage platform, you are covered when it comes to brokerage. Getting a good broker, you're already covered. Then you understand leverage. Leverage is basically the ability to power up your capital. All of these things, we're just opening them up. We will talk more in details about them as we progress in this series of classes. In this series of classes, we're going to, we're going to be understanding all of that. Okay, so you're going to understand leverage. Like I said, 3 things. Number 1, education. Okay, education, you're going to educate yourself, and then this is where these trainings come in. Number two, brokerage. A broker, you're going to look for a regulated broker. That's where advantage comes in. Number three, you're going to understand leverage. Understanding leverage. Now, leverage is the ability to power up your capital. Okay, you have $100, and you are able to take advantage. You are able to trade in the market as though you have $1,000 or even $10,000. You are able to trade like that. So now you have $1,000, but the broker or the platform allows you to trade as though you have $10,000. What is that? The difference between 1,000 and 10,000 that you have access to, even though the money is not credited into your account, but that difference that you have access to is what is called leverage. And what that does is this: leverage helps you to magnify your wins, your profits. It helps you to amplify your profits. Leverage helps you to amplify your profits. Where if you were trading with only $1,000, that is your main capital, if you were going to make 1%, which is $10, by trading, by having the ability to trade as though you have $10,000 in your account, you are able to make 10 times what you would have made. So where you would have made $10, you're able to make $100. Why? Because you are able to trade your $1,000 as if you have a $10,000 account. How does that happen? Leverage. Leverage. So if you're totally new, you may not understand this fully yet, but we are going to break it down later on, and you will understand what leverage is properly. But that's exactly the idea of leverage, and that's actually how it works. But then I said something now that leverage helps you to magnify your profits. But leverage also helps you to magnify your losses, because trading is not about not losing a trade. Being able to trade profitably is not about not losing a trade. It's about being able to make more profit than you lose. If you have an edge that gives you profit, you trade, and then you have an edge that gives you profit 8 times, 8 times, or maybe even 9 times. Let's pick 8. Let's say 7 to 8. You are able to trade, and you are able to make 7 to 8 times in 10 trades. 7 to 8 times, you are right, you are profitable. So those 2 to 3 times where you make losses don't count anymore. Just imagine that you're taking 10 trades, and for every trade you are making $10. For every trade you make $10. Now, for every time you lose, you also lose $10. For every time you make profit, you make $10. For every time you make a loss, you make a loss of $10. Now, if you win 7 times out of 10, that means you made $70. If you lose 3 times out of 10, that means you made profit 7 times out of 10, and then you made losses the remaining 3 times. What that means is you are now having $70 profit and plus $30 losses. So cumulatively, you are still in profit to the tune of $40. That's exactly how trading works. That's exactly how trading works. Not a question of, oh, I don't lose money at all. When you hear somebody say, oh, just join me, I've had this process, I have this strategy, I have this thing I will give you that will not lose at all 100%. Those are the things that make people, those are the things that get people scammed. Okay? Making a losing trade does not mean you cannot make money at all. It doesn't mean you cannot make money. Okay, so there is nothing that works perfectly, right? Nothing that works perfectly. You can wake up today and then you're going somewhere, everywhere is dry. Before you go out, it starts to rain. That just shows you is the environment. That's the way it is. The weather, it can change in a moment. That's the way the market is. The market operates like real life. The market operates like real life, right? So you may not be able to win the market at 100% all the time, because there are events that you cannot predict. Okay, so profit and leverage helps you to magnify your wins, and it also helps you to magnify your losses. So in that way, it is a double-edged sword. So you want to be careful how to use leverage. And being careful how to use leverage starts with understanding leverage. Understanding leverage. So when you understand leverage, you are able to use it with wisdom. You're able to use it with smarts, right? So all of that is what all these sessions that we are going through, that's what it's going to be all about. Okay. So there are some advantages why you want to trade Forex. Why do you want to trade Forex? There's some advantages. Forex is easy. Now, when we say Forex is easy to get in, we are talking about complexity. We're talking about the absence of complexity when it comes to how much you can start with. So you can start trading with Vantage with as low as $50. Our smallest account is $50. But how many businesses, $50, $100? How many businesses can you go and start with $50 or $100 now that you think will make you any kind of profit? I bet not many. And even if there are businesses like that you can start with, the profit potential is going to be extremely low that it may not even be worth your time at all. But if you take your $100 and put it in a Vantage Markets account, and you get the right knowledge, you get the right information, you know when to trade. You join we have a signal group and all that. You are able to learn to take those signals. I'm sure some of you are in that group and you see trades we post every day, but you probably don't know how to use the trades, how to use it, how to enter those trades and what to do with them and all that. This training is for you. So you are very welcome. This training is for you. You're going to, because of this training, you're going to understand how to use those signals that we post every day, right? We've already posted about 4 of them today or so, right? So every day we post that. So you're going to be able to learn how to use them. So this is the only business right now, or one of the few businesses right now you can start with as little as $50, little as $100, and then you can begin to grow your account from there. That's what we mean by easy to start. Okay, easy, and then also the fact that you can start, you can begin to operate from your phone or from your laptop. If you prefer to use laptop, fine. If you prefer to use your phone, fine, whichever one. Okay, so that's it. And then you trade from anywhere in the world, and this is actually the biggest market out there that you can trade. And like I said before, the size of the market is very, very important to the amount of profit that you can make in the market. Okay. All right. So now, okay. So when can you trade Forex? I'm sure you guys have, I'm sure some of you have understood that Forex trading is a, someone is turning on the video. Please put off your video. Thank you. Okay, you can just use the audio so you hear me clearly. All right. So now, when can you trade the Forex market? When can you trade the Forex market? So there are different sessions. The market basically, Forex market basically is open 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, which is Sunday night to Friday night. Sunday night to Friday night. So it's 24 hours, 5 days a week. Now, when you trade cryptocurrency, the crypto market is open 24 hours, 7 days a week. Okay, but for the Forex market, it's 24 hours, 5 days a week. So you are meant to rest during the week. Okay, and then also that weekend is meant to also prepare you for the next week. When the market slows down and the market is quiet, I love it a lot because it helps me to actually go back on the market, analyze what happened in the previous week, and then be able to make projections towards the new week. Okay, be able to make projections towards the new week. What am I expecting to happen? What's going on in the market right now? And how is that meant to drive market direction into the new week? Okay, so that's what you do during the weekends. But basically, 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, that's how the market is open. So, and through these 24 hours a day, you know that all around the world, there's night and day. And then there are different time zones. When right now, as we are this is 11:35 right now in the morning, some people are just waking up right now. This is probably 6 a.m. somewhere in the US or so. 6 a.m., 5 a.m. right now somewhere in the US. Now, there are some people too that this is night. This is night. Somewhere in Asia, this is night right now. The market has already closed for the day. This is evening towards night right now somewhere in Asia. If you come in, just mute yourself. You're welcome. You're welcome to the class. When you come in, please just mute yourself. Thank you. All right. So the world is divided. The world is a 24-hour market. It runs through different time zones around the world, through different time zones. So right now, this is Africa. We're in Africa right now, and this is 11:35, 35, 36 in Africa. Okay. The UK is also like this. Okay, good morning. Welcome. So the UK is also about this time. I think we are 1 hour ahead of the UK right now. Then the US is this is early morning, the US. And then in Asia, this is the end of the day. Okay, so there are different sessions that are centered around the major markets around the world, the major financial centers in the world right now. Okay, so the major financial centers are based in different parts of the world. The first place is in New York. New York is a major financial center. We have London. London is another major financial center. Then you have Frankfurt. Frankfurt is in Germany, and that's another major financial center. You have Tokyo, which is Japan. Japan is also another major financial center. Sydney, Australia is another major financial center. Okay, so now these places I just mentioned, you agree with me that they all have different time zones. They are all at different times at this time. The one that's closest to us in Africa is the London session. Okay, the London session, which is like 1 hour behind us. Sometimes in an hour we are together. The GMT and Africa and the West African time or African time is usually together. I think South Africa is 1 hour ahead of West Africa. South Africa is 1 hour ahead of West Africa, you know. So it's more about the same time. I think West Africa is 1 hour ahead of the UK right now, which is London. Okay. So London opens by 8 a.m. and closes by 4 p.m. Sydney, Australia starts the market 9 p.m. at night. This is GMT now. This is GMT. So 9 p.m. at night is that 9 p.m. Is when the market opens. GMT, the market has already closed in London session, but this is when the market is opening for the Sydney session because that's around 7 a.m. in the morning in Sydney, in Sydney, Australia. Okay. Then when you shift to 11 p.m., 11 p.m. is when 11 p.m. is about when the Asian session starts. 11 p.m. GMT is around when the Asian session begins. So you see, that's 11 p.m. That 11 p.m. which is GMT is around 8 a.m. in Tokyo, Japan. Okay, so this 9 p.m. is Sydney, in Sydney, Australia, is 9 p.m. GMT, but it's about 8 a.m. Australian time. You see, so Frankfurt, Germany, that's a 7 a.m. GMT, 7 a.m. The New York session is about 1 a.m. So it's just the way it is right now. The New York session will be opening in about maybe 2 or 3 hours. But imagine the London session has been open since 8 a.m. You see, so these are the financial centers in the world, and this is the reason why the market can be 24 hours, because it's not as though it's 24 hours in one place. It cannot open 24 hours in one place. London session is going to close by 4 or 5 today, right? When they close, that's it for the London session. The New York session still continues because the New York session just started by 1. New York session will close by 9 p.m., 10 p.m., and then the other market, also Sydney market, takes off from there, which is morning now. Sydney, that's morning in Sydney, Australia. Then Tokyo comes just about 2 or 3 hours after that. Okay, this is how the market gets to be a 24-hour market. And whether you are in these time zones or you are not in these time zones, you are also able to still participate in market. So it could be 9 p.m. GMT. It could be 9 p.m. GMT, and the New York session has closed. London session has closed. The Sydney session is just opening. You as somebody who is in Nigeria or in South Africa, who is in the London time zone, you can still be trading because you will not want to sleep, you've not gone to bed. You can still be trading. The reason why the market is still open is because another market somewhere in Sydney, Australia has just opened. Another session somewhere in Sydney, Australia has just opened. Okay, so the market continues like that for 24 hours, 5 days, until Friday night, the market slows down and closes. Okay, so this is how the market gets to be a 24-hour market, right? So that's very, 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 very important. And then also when it comes to these different sessions, what you trade at that time matters to an extent, not all the time. Okay, because for example, let's take the Tokyo session for example, Asian session, Tokyo session. All right. So let's pick. We know that the currency for Japan is JPY, which is Japanese yen, right? So you will notice that during the Asian session, the USD JPY makes massive moves. They are able to make a lot of moves at that time. It makes a lot of moves at that time, which means that there are opportunities for trading the USD JPY during the Tokyo session. There's a big opportunity for trading the JPY pairs. If you don't understand that, just hold on, we are going to get there. For understanding the JPY pairs, your JPY pairs are likely to make massive moves during the Asian session. Why? Because that's the currency of the Asian session. That's the currency of the Tokyo. It's just like too, when you come to the UK and then you notice that for the European session and the London session, the market opens around 7, 8 a.m. Okay? Now the market opens around 7, 8 a.m. Now you will begin to notice that there will be movements, there will be massive movements in the euro-based currencies. GBP-based currency, which is the London session is open now. You will see GBP-based currencies. GBP is Great Britain pound. Okay, and then euro currencies. You will begin to see movements, massive movements in euro currencies and GBP currencies. For those who are traders, we understand. For those who are traders, we understand that the biggest movements happen usually. You will see breakout fast movements during this 7, 8 a.m. season, when the market is just opening in Europe, which is London session and the European session. When that starts to happen, you will see that, oh, the market will just start moving. Why is it moving? Because the session for the currency just opened. What do I mean session for the currency? We are talking about euro. Euro is a currency. GBP is a currency. Their session just opened. So since their session just opened, most people are going to be trading. Most people that are in that time zone, most people that are in Frankfurt, Germany, that are in London, they are trading GBP. They are trading euro pairs. They are trading GBP pairs. They are trading euro pairs. Okay. So since they are trading GBP and they are trading euro pairs, you realize that they are able to. You realize that there's a lot of volatility in the market at that time. When we say volatility, we're talking about the size of movement in the market. The size of the movement in the market. Okay? We are going to discuss a lot more of this as we progress. Movement in the market. So when the market is moving very slowly, your potential for profit is very small, which means volatility is very small. Okay? When market is moving slowly, it means volatility is slow, and it means your potential for profit is also little. But when the market is moving massively, it means that your volatility is high and your potential for making profit is high. Your potential profit is high. So you want to be able to trade when there is a lot of volatility. So that's what I'm saying now, that around 7 a.m., 8 a.m., when the London and the European session are opening, you will begin to see a lot of volatility with euro pairs, euro-based currencies, GBP-based currencies. You will begin to see movements in those currencies. You see why? Because volatility has just increased, because that session has just opened, right? So that's very, very That's important. That will give you an idea of what pairs should I be trading per session. If you're trading London session, you want to begin to look for pairs that are related to the UK, like the Euro pairs or the GBP pairs. Those are going to be the best pairs for you to trade. Even though they are not the only pairs you should trade, but we see a lot of volatility in those pairs at that time. Okay. All right. Let's move on. So I hope we are getting what we are going through, and I'm not moving too fast. If I'm moving too fast, please just put it in the comment section. Tell me, oh, you're moving too fast. Please rewind that. Please to talk about this again and all that. I'll be glad to do that. Okay. If I move too fast, just draw my attention back by commenting putting a comment in the comment section. I will read it and I'll clarify. I'll go back and clarify what you are not clear with. Okay. So currencies are linked to economies. Currencies are linked to economies. Okay, so every economy has its own currency, and then that currency is the value of that currency is basically the value of the particular economy. The US dollar is the currency. The US dollar is the currency of the American economy. The US dollar is the currency of the American economy. The euro is the currency of the Eurozone economy. The JPY is the currency for the Japanese economy. The GBP is the currency for the British pound, for the UK economy. AUD is the currency for the Australian economy. CHF is the currency of the Swiss francs of the Swiss economy, while the CAD is the currency of the Canadian economy. Okay. So now that we see that, what's this telling us? Now let's use the analogy of a company. Let's use the analogy of a company, right? So now, Apple as a company started many years ago in the 70s. Now, Apple is much bigger today, much wealthier today. Apple is the most capitalized company in the world. It's probably the richest, quote and unquote, the richest company in the world, Apple. Okay. They are the most capitalized company in the world. They have more cash reserves, they have everything. But that company was started around 1979, 1978 or so. That company was small at that time, and when they sold their shares, the shares were very small. The value of the shares were very small. Why? Because the company was not doing very well at that time. The company was not doing very well at that time. So the value was very small. Then the company went up. The company began to do well, and then at a point, they hit challenges. They came into challenges, and then they dropped the value of their shares dropped again before eventually they got the right person to run the company, and the company bounced up again. Now, what am I saying all this? I'm trying to say that when you see the currency of a country, it can be compared to the shares of a company. When you see the currency of a country, it can be compared to the shares of a company. So the value of the shares of a company is determined by how well the company is doing. If the company is doing very well and they are increasing sales, they are increasing profits, what happens? The value of the shares keep going up. And the company is doing very poorly and they are continuing to lose money, they are continuing to make losses. What happens? Every time they are making loss, people will sell the shares. People will not that company, right? Which means that they will lose. The value of the company will keep falling. Please, if you have anything to say, just leave it in the chat box. I will see it. Thank you. So that's how it is. Now, the US dollar at this moment is the strongest currency in the world. And that is for very simple reason. That's for simple reason, because the US economy is the strongest economy in the world at this time. The US economy has faced challenges over the years, but at this time we're talking right now, the US economy is the strongest economy in the world. That's why the currency is the strongest currency. The currency is fighting against in terms of value, it's fighting against the currency, the euro. There was a time when the US dollar, when the euro was stronger than the dollar. Today, the euro is no more stronger than the dollar. It's around parity. Parity means that they are about 1 to 1. I think. Yes. Okay. You are fast. Please reduce. Okay. All right. I'll do that. Okay. So what I was talking about now is that the USD currencies are comparable to the economies that they represent. So the US dollar is strong because the US economy is strong. The euro is also strong to an extent when compared to the dollars because the euro economy is also strong. Now, basically, these currencies right here, these currencies you are seeing here right now, are what you call the major currencies in the world, the major economies, the major currencies in the world. All of them are strong when you compare them to all the other currencies in the world. All of them are strong. But when you compare with the US dollar, the US dollar is stronger than all these other currencies right now. Yes. And that's the reason. The reason for that is because the US economy is stronger than these other economies right now. So that's the reason, that's what you want to think about when you think about currencies. Because this is the importance of this to show up when we start to look at what do we trade. Remember, we are trading the forex market. And then when we're trading the forex market, we're actually dealing with currencies. And then when we deal with currencies, indirectly, we are dealing with the economies that are behind those currencies. So meaning, if you are trading the dollar right now, let's say you are trading the dollar right now, and you are betting that the dollar is going to rise. Why are you betting that the dollar is going to rise? You are betting that the dollar is going to rise because you believe that the US economy is going to be strong, or the US economy is strong. If you believe that for some reason the US economy is not going to be that strong, you are not going to be betting that the US dollar is going to rise. So you are going to be betting that the US dollar is going to fall because of challenges that you anticipate in the economy. So the economy and its currency are together. It's just like a person and his name. Okay? If somebody is doing well, when you mention the person's name, let's say the person is a governor. The person is a governor, right? When you mention the person's name carries a certain level of regard and respect, right? Because the person is a governor. But the person himself is actually a governor. Why is it that it's his name that is getting recognition? That's the way it is. Then when that person ceases to be a governor, especially in certain parts of the world, people are no more loyal to him. His name now sounds, in many cases, his name is not as powerful as it used to be because he is no more a governor. He is no more as powerful as he used to be. So his name does not carry as much weight as it used to carry. It's the same thing with economies. So if the economy is going to be strong, the currency will be strong. If the economy is not going to be so strong or is not so strong, the currency of that economy will not be as strong as well. I hope you understand. And if you have any questions, just drop it in the chat box too. I will read it and I will answer it. Okay. So now, let's look at currency pairs. Currency pairs. We've looked at currencies. We've seen that currencies are related to economies. When the currency is good, when the economy is good, the currency will be good. If the economy is poor, the currency will be poor. When you come to countries like Africa, when you have like Nigeria, some other currencies like that, other countries like that, Nigeria is one of those that are doing very poorly. And the reason Nigeria is doing, the Nigerian currency, Naira, is doing very poorly is because the economy of Nigeria is doing very poorly. is run by people who don't know their left from their right. So because of that, the economy is not doing well. Because the economy is not doing well, the currency continues to fall. It keeps falling every year, every month, every week. It keeps falling. It keeps falling. It keeps falling. It keeps falling. So you can see tomorrow now, if there's a new government in Nigeria and that president starts to do the right things, you will see this same naira that is performing poorly right now begins to perform better. That happened in one country in, is it Tanzania or something, but one country in Africa, where the currency, within 11 months, the currency became the best performing currency in the world. Why? Because the government, the president came into office and decided to do the right things. He cut spending, he cut waste, he tackled corruption and all these things. What was happening in the economy began to translate to the currency. So the currency began to appreciate. So people started seeing that the currency became the best performing currency for a whole year. I think that was last year, you know. So that's what it is. So let's come to currency pairs. Now, currencies are traded in pairs. If you want to trade the dollar, you can't just trade the dollar like that. Okay? Of course you can. There's a way to do it, but we'll get to that. But at this time, just understand that currencies are traded in pairs. So the reason they are traded in pairs is this. Whatever you want to buy, you are going to know the value by comparing it to something else. Whenever you want to buy something, you are going to pay something for it. So that is basically comparison. You want to buy a phone, right? How are you going to buy the phone? You are going to pay what? Money for it. The money you pay for the phone is the value the phone has. If you paid $500 for a phone, that's the value the phone has. You see? So that now you can as well call it iPhone/USD because you paid dollar for it. Just the way you are seeing Euro/USD here, you can as well say iPhone/USD because you paid the dollar for it. You paid money for it. That's the reason currencies are traded in pairs. So now, if I want to trade the euro, for example, let's say the euro economy is not that strong. Okay, there are many things happening in the eurozone right now. Inflation, you know, let's say inflation, a lot of inflation, the energy crisis because of the war in Ukraine. Okay, Putin's war in Ukraine. There's pressure on food and energy costs around the world, especially in Europe. And the reason for Europe is because Europe was basically serviced by oil from Russia. Okay, so Russia was the major supplier of oil to Europe. So now that the Eurozone is having issues with Russia because of sanctions that they have placed, NATO, the organization of these countries, the sanctions that NATO have placed on Russia makes it impossible, difficult now for the Eurozone to continue to buy oil from Russia. So in about a month or so, Europe is going to cut off Russian oil completely. So what does that do? The demand still remains. Remember, the demand is there for oil and gas. The demand is there. But if they are going to cut off Russia, what that means is that the demand remains the same, but the supply is going to drop. What does that do to price? Okay, so whenever this demand remains the same and supply drops, that will lead to price hike. That will lead to price increases. So that's what's happening in the Eurozone right now. Energy crisis, food, energy inflation, food inflation, and all that. That's what's going on there. Now, let's say that's happening in the US to an extent, but not as much as in Europe. So let's say you look at the euro now and you say, okay, based on what is happening in the euro, I want to sell the euro. You can't just sell the euro, you have to sell it, you have to sell and buy with respect to another currency, in this case, like the dollar. So you are going to have the euro USD because whenever you transact, you are going to have to buy or sell in a different currency. What I'm trying to say is that whenever you buy or sell something, you are going to sell it, you're going to give value to it by something else. Just the way I explained the phone and the money. Okay, if you want to buy anything you want to buy, you're going to have to buy it with money. So now you are comparing that thing to the money. That's the slash you are seeing here. The slash here means that, oh, we are transacting euro against the dollar. You can't transact euro alone. You can't transact dollar alone. You are going to have to transact it with respect to the dollar. You're going to transact, in this case, you're transacting with the dollar against the Japanese yen. Here you are transacting GBP against the USD. Then you are transacting USD against the CHF. Here you are transacting AUD against the USD. Then here you are transacting USD against the CAD. You see, so these are just a few currency pairs. These are the major currency pairs, but there are many other ones as we will see as we progress. Okay, so that is exactly how it's done. This is why currencies are traded in pairs. You can't just have one currency standing alone. Okay, you are not going to have one currency standing alone. You are going to have currency traded in pairs. So let's look at something. Let's look at this chart. Let's look at this chart. So this chart right now, you see Euro USD here, Euro USD. I don't know if you can see this. I'm sure you probably can. Let's see if I can remove this, make it bigger. Okay. So now you see Euro USD. Okay. You see XAU USD. XAU USD is gold versus dollar. Can you see the versus euro versus US dollar? Okay. You can see gold versus US dollar is abbreviated. It's actually the symbol is XAU USD. Gold versus US dollar. Let's look at this. You have GBP USD. You have Great Britain pound versus US dollar. You see, every currency pair that you're trading is there's always a pair. For you to trade, there always has to be a pair. Even when you're dealing with BTC, there's a pair. Because you cannot buy and sell BTC without referencing another currency. If I buy BTC right now, for any one of you who know about BTC, the reason I'm mentioning BTC now is because some people might think, oh, okay, so how does it work for things like cryptocurrency? It's exactly the same thing. It works exactly the same way for cryptocurrency, right? It's the same thing. If you want to buy BTC, you are going to price BTC in dollars. BTC is currently priced in what? Dollars. So if BTC is priced in dollars, that is BTC versus USD. Let me see if I can find this so that I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. So let's see. Let's watch this. BTC, okay. Charts. Cryptocurrency, major cryptocurrency, BTC USD. Okay, good. Okay, so again, major. So if you look at what we are seeing here right now, can you see BTC USD, BCH USD, ETH USD, LTC USD? The first one is BTC, the second one is BCH, which is Bitcoin Cash. The next one is Ethereum USD, Litecoin USD, XRP USD, which is Ripple, EOS USD. Can you see all of them are quoted in USD? The reason is that you cannot transact in any currency except you compare it to another currency. So currencies are traded. This is why currencies are traded in pairs. You will always, the way the pair is arranged, there's a disparity in the way the pairs, there are differences in the way the pairs are arranged. We'll talk about that. You look at there's Euro, USD, Euro comes first, USD comes last. In this place, you have USD come first and CHF comes last. All that arrangement, right? There's an order for doing that arrangement. But the most important thing to know here is that currencies are traded in pairs. Okay? And the reason for that, once again, is because you cannot transact in one currency or in a commodity without referencing a currency. you have to buy or sell in the value of something else. And the value, the amount you paid or sold something, the amount you paid for something becomes the value that that thing has. That's why you always have to compare that thing to something else. So when you are buying Bitcoin, you cannot buy Bitcoin except you're buying it in dollars. So that's why you are seeing BTC USD, BTC USD, LTC USD. Why? Because the currency, the currency here is what you are using to transact with the first one. Okay, let's move on. So now, so let's move on. Now, when it comes to, let's quickly talk about how to determine whether you should be buying or selling. Okay, let's say you look at Euro USD. You look at Euro USD and you ask yourself, okay, should I be buying or should I be selling? So this is in a later class, that's what we call analysis. So analysis is basically looking at the market and being able to determine, should I be buying or should I be selling? Now look at this. When it comes to Forex trading, like I said, we trade in pairs. Currencies are traded in pairs. Now, whenever you pick a currency pair like Euro USD, when you pick a currency pair, whenever you are buying this currency pair, it means that you are buying the first currency here. This first currency is what you're buying, the second one is what you're selling. Okay? But we'll discuss more on that as we progress. Now, first of all, to understand how you determine the price, whether the price is going to go up or down, is this. If you make a buy now on Euro USD, you buy Euro USD, for you to make profits from buying, remember you can buy or sell. You can either buy or you can either sell. Now, for you to buy this Euro USD, when you buy this Euro USD, for you to make profit from it, it means that the euro has to appreciate and the dollar has to depreciate. That's why I said this has to do with what we call analysis. And this is why we send you trades and tell you, okay, buy from here, sell from here. By the time we've gone through this whole class, not just today is the first day. Okay, by the time we've gone through this whole class, you will understand how you should be taking those trades that we are sending you. Okay, after you fund your account and you are able to take those trades that we're sending you, because those trades are born out of market research analysis. So when we tell you to buy, we have a pretty good idea that the market is going to be buying for a particular currency pair. If we tell you, okay, sell this one, we have a pretty good idea that the market is going to be selling in that direction. You see? So when you pick this and you say Euro USD, I want to buy, when you buy Euro USD, it's the way you can make money from buying Euro USD is for the price of Euro to rise and the price of USD to drop. That's how you make money from it. So your analysis is what will tell you that. Then another way you can make money from buying Euro USD is for both of them to drop. That means Euro USD price dropped, the Euro price dropped, the USD price dropped. Both of them price dropped, but the USD dropped further. It fell faster than Euro. Because it fell faster than Euro, that means the strength of the Euro is still more than the USD, right? So those are the two conditions under which you can make money when you make a buy on Euro USD. The first one I said is the most important one. When you buy Euro USD, you are expecting the price of Euro to rise and expecting the price of USD to fall. When that happens, you will be in profit. And that, like I said, is where the analysis comes in. When we say analysis, that's what we are talking about. That helps us determine where is Euro going to rise or is it going to fall. That will determine what we are going to buy. If we realize that Euro is going to appreciate, we will be buying the Euro USD. If we realize that Euro is going to fall, we will be selling the Euro USD. Okay? All right. So let's Let's proceed. I hope we understood that. If you didn't understand that, just put it in the chat, and then I will go back and explain it. Okay. This is where we're going to round up for this morning. Okay. So that we don't take in too much at once. The class continues tomorrow. Okay. So for this week, the schedule is there. We'll see. So now look at this. An example again is Euro USD. Okay. Now this was what I was about explaining earlier. Currencies are traded in pairs. Whenever you take a currency like this, you take Euro USD and you are trading Euro USD. Okay. The first currency, which is the euro in this case, is what you call the base currency. The base currency. And the reason why it's called the base currency is because it is the basis of the transaction. Basis of the transaction. What does basis of the transaction mean? It means that when you are buying this pair, remember currencies are traded in pairs. When you buy this pair, you are actually buying the euro. You are buying it on the basis of the euro. When you are buying this euro USD, you are buying it on the basis of the euro. That means you believe the euro is going to appreciate. That's why you are buying it. You only buy something you believe the value is going to increase. If you buy a property for investment, you believe the property is going to appreciate. That's why you're buying it. So if you're buying the euro USD, you understand that the euro is going to appreciate against the USD, which means that the USD is going to depreciate. Okay, so simultaneously in forex trading, when you buy this euro USD, it means you are buying euro and you are simultaneously selling the dollar. Not selling the dollar in the proper sense of selling something. You are actually betting against the dollar. You are favoring the euro and disfavoring the dollar. Let me put it that way. You are favoring the euro and you are disfavoring the dollar. That's what we mean when we say you buy the euro and sell the dollar. If you buy euro USD, you are buying on the basis of the euro. When you sell euro USD too, you are selling on the basis of the euro. You are saying, oh, when I buy euro USD, you are saying that euro is going to do very well. Yes. But when you sell euro USD, you are also equally saying that the euro is going to do badly. That's what you are saying. You only sell things. If you know that the value of something is going to drop tomorrow, let's say you are in Nigeria right now and you know that you have dollars. And today your dollar is valued at, let's say, 800 per dollar. And you know that for some reason, if that value is going to drop tomorrow, tomorrow is going to come down to 500. What are you going to do today? You will find a way to sell it today so that you don't lose money. You will find a way to sell it today so that you don't lose money. That's the way it is. When you buy the euro, it's because you believe it's going to appreciate. When you sell it, it's because you believe it's going to. So you sell it now so that when the price money, when you think it's going to appreciate, when you buy it now, you know that it's going to appreciate. That's why that's why you buy it, so that as you buy it, you will start to see price increase. And once that price increase is happening, you are making money, right? So that's the reason. And then that's why it's called the base. The euro in this combination is called the base currency. Then the USD is called the quote currency. The quote currency means that this is the currency you are paying to acquire the euro. That's the meaning of quote. This transaction, this currency right now is quoted in dollars because every currency has a quote. Let me show you something, guys. So look right now, you will see, let me turn this. On to the right-hand side of this screen right now, I don't know if you can see this, you are seeing 1.00577 Euro USD, 1.00577. 1.0057 something. This is the quote. This price right now is the quote. That way to see it is this. Look at it. No, this is not Euro USD. Let me look for Euro USD. Euro USD. USD. Okay, great. So this is this right now. This is the quote. So every currency, Euro versus USD, US dollar, since you have that quote right here, this is telling you now that this pair is quoted in dollars. That's why it's called the quote currency. It's called the quote currency because it is the basis for quoting, for getting the quote. It's just like you are buying a land and you are buying it with dollars. You're buying this land for $100,000. So if on the documents, what are they going to write there? $100,000. But you bought the land. Why are they not focusing on the land? Why are they focusing on the money? Because the property is quoted in dollars. So that's the reason why this pair right now called Euro USD is quoted in dollars. That's why they call it quote currency. They call this base currency because this is the basis of the transaction. Anytime you are buying or selling, you are actually buying or selling the base currency. But the purpose of this quote currency is to quote the base currency, which means this transaction right now is quoted in US dollar. This is the currency that is used to buy the base currency. The quote currency is the currency that is used to transact, to buy the base currency. Okay, so that is the meaning of quote currency and base currency. All right. So I will end this class right now so that we don't take too much. We're going to continue with this class from tomorrow. We'll revise this a little bit and then we'll proceed to the next class tomorrow. Okay, so we still have some time, a few minutes. Do you have any questions? If you have any questions, drop it in the chat box. I'm not sure I can hear you very clearly. I think I'm hearing the sound coming out when people are talking. I'm hearing the sound, but I'm not hearing it in my ear. So I may not be able to hear you exactly. I would have said to unmute yourself and speak. But for that purpose, please just drop it in the chat box so that I will